Welcome to the Freedom Club Podcast, where we strive to pull you out of your life of quiet desperation, out of your comfort zone of misery, and propel you into a life of freedom and fulfillment. And now, here's your host for this journey, international speaker and coach, and serial entrepreneur, Kurt Mercadante.
And happy 2019, everybody. This is the very first Freedom Club Podcast episode of 2019. This is episode 1 of season 2. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you had a wonderful new year. As you know from my podcast I had in December, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I believe in setting a clear life vision and reverse engineering it so that every single year you have clearly defined objectives for the year, and then you reverse engineer them so that you have monthly outcomes, weekly, daily outcomes that all lead up to your yearly objective. So, we're about a week in here to 2019, and if you haven't already set that yearly objective, you are a week behind. So I urge you to get going on that. Listen, I'm very excited about this year of the Freedom Club Podcast. First, I want to give a plug. If you are not a member of the Freedom Club community, it's a private Facebook community, Facebook group, in which when I interview podcast guests for this podcast, we live stream it. We have a live discussion. Please go to Facebook right now. Search the Freedom Club community. You'll see my ugly face there. Join it. Apply to join. We'll get you in the group. We got about 500 people and growing. We're growing every single day. I urge you to come on board there. You get to hear these interviews weeks before they actually air here on the podcast. And, we have a great group of guests coming up. This Wednesday is our first interview of the year with Dr. Natalia Vyhovsky. She's a personal branding expert. She joined me live in the Freedom Club community from Dubai, where that's her home base. And we talked about everything personal branding, as well as finding your purpose and how personal branding and really finding your purpose and building your brand around that purpose can give you a sense of freedom in your life. So I hope you come back this Wednesday to listen to that incredible interview. And I got to tell you, I'm ready to go to war this year. I'm currently reading a biography of Winston Churchill. And in the days leading up to World War I, for years he had seen the threat growing from Germany. He saw them mobilizing for war, and people around him, his contemporaries, thought that Churchill was just a warmonger. But he saw it coming, and even in the days immediately leading up to the war, when he knew it was coming, when it was in, hindsight is 2020, but even now we look back and we're like, how did no one see this coming? Churchill saw it coming, and he wrote to his wife that everyone around him was in this kind of dull trance in which obviously war was coming, but it was almost like they were removed from the situation, and he was the only one there. I like to call it bizarro world. It's like, why doesn't anyone else realize this is coming? And of course that war did come. And, decades later, he saw World War II coming, and he saw that threat coming before others. Now that's World War I, World War II. But I think the same thing applies to many of you out there in your own lives. It's like you're going through life in a dull trance, like you're living someone else's life. You're not an active participant in your own life, and that coming threat is coming. And maybe you're totally unaware of it, or maybe you'd just rather put your head in the sand. But I'll tell you right now, it is coming, and I'm going to war in 2019 to help those of you who want to, because you got to want to do it, to help shake you free from that trance, to realize you don't have to live in that life of quiet desperation in which you just cash your paycheck every day, but you don't have that sense of freedom and fulfillment. Your mental, your physical health sucks. Your relationships aren't at 100% with your wife, your kids, your spouse, whoever. I'm going to go to war. And if you want to go to war with me, let's fight together. Because I get calls every week from people who know they have a problem, but they'd rather keep their heads buried in the sand. They'd rather that crisis actually reach a boiling point and force their hand until that pain is so great that they're forced to change because they can't do it on their own. Listen, if that's you, if you'd rather remain in that comfort zone of misery, be my guest. I don't wish that upon you, but sometimes I feel like you do. But if you're ready to declare war. If you're ready to go to war and fight for freedom in your life, I'm ready to fight alongside you. Yes, keep listening to this podcast, but go to my website. See what programs I'm offering. Come attend one of my events. Maybe one of my masterminds. I'm going to be launching here a new online course. It's the Freedom Lifestyle Transformation. Get ready, because I'm going to announce that. And if you're ready to go to war, that is a very first step. Actually, a very first step is listening to this podcast. Another step is joining the Freedom Club community. Then when I launch this Freedom Lifestyle Transformation, that would be a third step. But you have to be an active participant in your life. You have to be willing to take your head out of the sand. Shake yourself free from that life of quiet desperation that Thoreau talks about, that comfort zone of misery, which is what I call it. See the growing threat. Stop yourself. Put on the brakes before you go over that cliff, because I'm telling you right now, it doesn't have to be that way. You can have excellent health and fitness. You can have excellent relationships, all while, yes, you are making money, because I know I've done it. I'm helping people do it every single day. So yes, I want to go to war in 2019. And if you're ready to go to war against your life of quiet desperation, reach out to me, because I will fight alongside you. This has been the first episode of the Freedom Club podcast in 2019. We'll talk to you Wednesday.